I will now call to order the THPRD Board of Directors meeting for May 10th, 2023. Jessica, will you please take roll?
Lisa Demlott Blake.
Yes.
Barbie Miner. Alfredo Moreno.
Here.
Heidi Edwards.
Here.
Thea Ping.
Here.
Thank you. So we don't have action resulting from executive session, so we will go right into proclamations. First up, we have Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm just opening up that tab. Well, let's see. Do we have Barbie yet?
I'll take Barbie's stuff.
Thank you, Tia.
She just came in.
Oh,
There
perfect.
she is.
Barbie,
it's having Wi-Fi issues. Apologies.
Oh, you're totally okay. Do you have what you need to participate in the proclamations?
I do indeed.
Perfect. Okay, we're going to start off with Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas THPRD is committed to creating a safe, welcoming, inclusive spaces that serve, invite, and belong to everyone. And
whereas today, nearly 74,000 people who live in Washington County are of Asian or Pacific Island descent, contributing to the social, economic, and cultural fabric of our community. And
whereas the Asian American and Pacific Islander community in Washington County is incredibly diverse, representing people from more than 20 unique countries of origin, including China, India, Japan, the Korean Peninsula, the Philippines, Vietnam, and more. And
whereas THPRD respects the heritage and cultural traditions of all people and recognizes the privilege and responsibility of serving our diverse community. And
whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is an occasion for honoring our shared humanity, celebrating cultural stories, and committing to accountability in advancing racial equity.
now, therefore, the Board of Directors of the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District does hereby declare the month of May 2023 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and do urge all those in the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District to support and promote this observance. Thank you. Thank you. Second proclamation, Jewish American Heritage Month. Whereas Jewish Americans have been an important part of the American story and have greatly contributed to all areas of American life and culture since our nation's earliest days. And
whereas on April 20th, 2006, the federal government proclaimed May as Jewish American Heritage Month, stating, as a nation of immigrants, the United States is better and stronger because Jewish people from all over the world have chosen to become American citizens, end quote. And since then, proclamations in support of Jewish American Heritage Month have been made by presidents of the United States annually. And
whereas generations of Jews have fled to the United States in search of a better life for themselves and their families, and these immigrants made invaluable contributions in support of equality and civil rights through their leadership and achievements. And
whereas there is a need for education and policies that are culturally competent when describing, discussing, or addressing the impacts of being Jewish in all aspects of American society, including discourse and policy. And
whereas we celebrate the rich and diverse heritage of the Jewish American community.
now, therefore, the Board of Directors of the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District does hereby declare the month of May 2023 as Jewish American Heritage Month, and do urge all those in the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District to support and promote this observance. Thanks, everybody. We have National Water Safety Month proclamation, and we have a guest for that.
Two guests.
Two? Amazing. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. I'll get us started. Whereas individual and organized forms of recreation and the creative use of free time are vital to the happy lives of all community members. And
whereas education, athletic, and recreation programs throughout the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District encompass a multitude of activities that can result in personal accomplishment, self-satisfaction, and family unity for all, regardless of background, ability level, or age. And
Whereas the Tualatin Hills Parks and Recreation District recognizes that swimming and aquatic related activities relate to good physical and mental health and enhance the quality of life for all people, and
Whereas the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District is extremely proud of our swimming facilities, aquatic programs, and other related activities, and our contribution to providing all ages a healthy place to recreate, to swim, build self-esteem, confidence, and a sense of self-worth, which contributes to the quality of life in our community.
now, therefore, the Board of Directors of the Tualatin Hills Parks and Recreation District does hereby declare the month of May 2023 as National Water Safety Month.
And do urge all those in the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District to support and promote this observance.
Thank you, Josh and Patrick, Center Supervisors Extraordinaire. We appreciate you being here. I know I've been asked to share some of the work that's happening that highlights these three proclamations. So each aquatic center is hosting educational activities from youth and family activities to swimming lessons and the life jacket loaner program, very cool program. Beaverton Swim Center will be hosting a special event, Jump in Water Safety 101 on May 21st. Harmon Swim Center is honoring Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month on a display board. The Athletic Center will be hosting the Friendship Taekwondo Tournament and the Table Tennis Tournament on May 20th. A cultural celebration event with the Oregon Chinese Coalition took place on May 6th at the Jenkins Estate. Conestoga Recreation and Aquatic Center is gathering shared aquatic experience through short descriptions and artwork, and the Thrive and preschool programs are learning basic water safety skills and creating stories and artwork. Garden Home Recreation Center honored Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month by hosting interactive craft projects for patrons May 8th through 10th in its front lobby. The center also has bulletin board displays, and the Thrive After School program will participate in story time and traditional craft making. The Stir Center is hosting a Story Corps recording event in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month and Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. On May 12th and 19th, people can share their stories and become part of a lasting legacy that will be preserved at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. The center also has dedicated boards and display cases showcasing unique cultures and stories. Finally, the Babette Horenstein Tennis Center Bulletin Board will showcase the rich heritage and contributions of Asian American and Pacific Islander and Jewish American communities. Thank you, everybody, for all your hard work. Much appreciated. Nice to meet you, Josh and Patrick. Next up, we have audience time, but it doesn't sound like anyone has signed up to do so. Next up, then, we have board time. Who would like to share what they've been working on? I mean, it's been quiet, not like bad quiet, but yeah. Go ahead, Tia.
I can share. I think last month we had joint meetings for all of our advisory groups, and so there they were presented budget information and potential levy information like we were given at our board meeting, and then a wonderful presentation about our CAPRA and why we do it and all the work that gets done and how that benefits the district, and just the wonderful work all of our employees do to get that ready and get us certified. And then Nature and Trails met, and then there was a big discussion on ways that we can prioritize how we pick our projects for trail gaps. And so the advisory committees are going to do mini field trips and figure out some of the places that are most busy or most needing some kind of connection or some kind of work for that, whether that's for just walking or biking. And then they focused on narrowing more projects for grants. So hopefully we get one of those, or our group gets a grant, because they're working very hard on it. So yeah.
Heidi?
Yes, short and sweet for me. The pension committee met this month, just this week actually, and that committee consists of a couple of our our staff, as well as HR and Doug and others, Joelle, and we just had a quick update on our investment performance with the pension. Not a lot of movement at this point in time with that, so nothing to be really concerned about or but just we met, they are still working on some FAQs that they'll be sharing out. So pension folks and employees can get some common questions answered about the pension and their role in it. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Heidi. Doesn't look like we have updates. Oh, Alfredo, yeah.
Sorry, I'll just go quick. Parks and facilities, we are talking about this new sport called pickleball that I've not heard of until no. We are breaking it down and discussing yeah, the state of pickleball, all things. It's nice to have it's interesting to have perspective of some ardent tennis folks who are understand where pickleball is heading, but also trying to find their place in it. And just we have a very inquisitive group, and also planning on some possible work to increase the sustainability, possibly bring some induction cooking to our facilities. So that's kind of being in the ideation phase right now. And finally, I'm pretty sure I didn't wish this last board meeting because it happened 3 days later, but wanted to wish a very happy 25th birthday to my local rec center, the Conestoga Rec Center, which had an awesome reception. April 14th, I brought the family down, and we all had a great time. My son loved to chase around Pikachu and all that good stuff after being terrified, of course, at first. But staff was great. Lots of people there. Looked like it was a great time. I feel sorry for whoever had to keep cleaning up all the cupcakes that hit the floor, but it was a great looking event. So cheers to everyone who made it happen.
Thank you, Alfredo. Uh,
I don't really have anything to
No,
share.
that's
Tia covered off on joint advisory committee, so I'll spare
Thanks,
us.
Tia. Yeah, no, I don't have much either, except continue to use the amazing park district. I love our parks, especially our nature centers and nature parks, and feel really lucky that I can go get shade there and get some exercise in and all that. So I mean, I'm sure I've been working on other stuff, but I just don't remember right now. Next up, we have consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move that the board approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Do we have a second?
This is Heidi. I second.
Thank you, Heidi. Jessica, will you please take roll?
Barbie Minor,
Yes.
Alfredo Moreno,
Yes.
Heidi Edwards,
Yes.
Tia Ping,
Yes.
Felisa Monteblanco.
Yes, thank you. Next up, we have unfinished business. So we have an update regarding the Downtown Beaverton Parks and Open Space Framework Plan. Take it away, Gary.
Good evening, and thank you for having me tonight. I'm Gary Keck, the planning manager for the district, and I am here to give an update on the Downtown Parks and Open Space Framework Plan and to seek any input you may have on the themes and goals that we'll talk about tonight. So there's no formal action being requested. The Downtown Parks and Open Space Framework Plan will determine how we bring parks and recreation amenities into downtown in partnership with the city. As you may recall, this is a project where we are partnering with the city on it, and we've hired a consultant team to help us through that process. And if we're ready.
Gary, I'm having some technical difficulties.
That's fine. That is fine. So when we're
Thanks. Do you see it now?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not in slideshow yet, but
not sure what's going on here.
As long as you don't have any embarrassing notes, Gary, then we're
That's right.
totally
Well,
I
okay.
don't. They're
We
all
can
over
all
here on
watch.
the
I mean, I
screen.
do it, no judgment.
Yeah, we'll just see if you miss any points, Gary. Go ahead and launch, Gary. We'll
Okay.
Yeah.
Jessica, if you can go to the background slide, we can just go that way. Perfect. All right, we'll keep going then. So the Downtown Parks and Open Space Framework Plan builds on previous work, including our Vision Action Plan and the city-led planning efforts over the past decade. They've done quite a bit of work, including their downtown equity strategy and their Central Beaverton Urban Renewal Plan. And from this previous work, we have already heard the community voice interest in downtown parks, which we all know. And we've also heard of some common activities that they'd like to see downtown, including connecting with nature, gathering and to bring diverse communities together and to feel welcome and safe in these spaces. So if we can go to the next slide, Jessica, thank you. So the framework plan defines downtown as the area outlined there in the orange dashed line. And the recommendations from this plan are going to focus within this area. On the 5th Street along the Beaverton Library and City Park, that's our southern border. The northern border's Center Street Park, and then on the west, we're starting at Hawken Avenue and heading over to the east about 117th is kind of the proximity that we're looking at. And if we go to the next slide, please. There you go. So at the beginning of the project, we collaborated with the city to create a project goals, which we brought to you about 9 months ago. And as I mentioned earlier, the project is going to provide a high-level plan, but it's building on previous plans. And we also want this framework plan to describe the types of parks we might see downtown, plazas, pocket parks, etc. Recommend some general locations of parks and open spaces. We want to identify the types of activities and that the public would like to see down there and determine the look and feel of these spaces. And then also providing ways to provide spaces that are welcoming and inclusive. And ultimately, at the end of this plan, we're going to have an implementation strategy that we'll talk a little bit more about too. So the next slide, we'll go over the community engagement. So last summer and fall, our team conducted community engagement, and the process included a range of multilingual opportunities designed to reach both frequent downtown users and voices from whom government agencies have historically failed to include. And we used several tools and approaches to do this. We had a project webpage, social media, we had an interested party list. We also put together an engagement plan that included over 30 events and meetings that we all, that the team attended to seek community input. And we ended up engaging with over 1,600 participants throughout this process and gathered over 2,000 comments. And we also had over 300 online surveys completed. So really successful outreach process that we went through on this project so far. So if we go to the next slide, we'll talk about the themes and goals. So based on all that information we gathered, our team put together we identified 4 themes, and we put together 15 corresponding goals for enhancing parks and open spaces in downtown. And within the plan, each goal is going to have several action items that's going to help us move the needle in the right direction for each goal. But you can see on the left-hand side of the slide are the themes, and they include gather community. We've also got welcome and celebrate. We have protect and reflect nature. And then we have connect. And staff, we've assessed the alignment between these themes and goals with other relevant THPRD plans like the Vision Action Plan. And we're excited to find that the framework plan themes and goals that we've come up with are consistent with those. They also have some overlap with the adopted comp plan as well, the recent adopted comp plan. So I'll briefly review the themes, but for the sake of time, I'll just pull out a couple of the goals to talk about how they work. So the first thing there is gather community, which focuses on creating spaces for community to come together. And you can see goal 1 recommends providing open spaces and amenities that allow multiple ways to gather. And one of the action items I know for this goal is to look at designing small gathering spaces into the fabric of downtown parks and open spaces. Another action item is to explore all-weather recreation spaces, which is a theme that we've all talked about over the last year about shade and whatnot. And then the Welcome and Celebrate theme focuses on providing opportunities to help create a more vibrant downtown and celebrate our community's cultural diversity. The third theme is Protect and Reflect Nature. And this theme focuses on increasing downtown's or Beaverton's natural qualities into downtown parks and open spaces. And one way to do that is in goal 10, which states to look at integrating nature into downtown parks and plazas where it can thrive and fit the parks and plazas purpose. And an example of one of the action items to help support that is to look at integrating nature play into a space. Look at integrating nature programming. You know, we have our nature mobile. We might have other programs we could look at. And then also explore opportunities to provide natural experiences in downtown if possible. And then the fourth theme is Connect, which focuses on safe access to downtown parks and open spaces for everyone. So if we go to the next slide, the framework plan will include 3 general sections, which you can see here. Earlier, I mentioned the implementation strategy, and what that's going to do is it'll lay out all the goals and the items that go along with them to provide a strategy for the district and the city and other partners to achieve our shared vision here by identifying, you know, what group or groups is responsible for each action item. We're also going to show if there are key partners who can aid in that action item or that goal. We'll look at potential funding sources and then as well as give some recommendations on next steps for each one of those. So pretty comprehensive matrix that we're working on right now. And the next slide, we'll go over the timeline. You can see we can see the finish line. We're real excited to be here tonight showing you all these themes and goals. We're anticipating returning to the board, the city council, and the bureau board in the summer to seek adoption of the plans. I know I'm helping Sarah King, the project manager at the city, present to the city council next week, and then the bureau board, we present to them, I think, the following week, the themes and goals. We're also bringing the themes and goals to advisory committees as well, which we're working on. We met with the URAC committee, the Urban Renewal Advisory Committee, last week. So if we go to the next slide, that concludes the presentation. And as I mentioned earlier, there's no formal action tonight, but we'd take any input you may have on the themes and goals, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have right now.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
Operator, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the one thing that popped out to me was I really enjoyed the emphasis on sort of the nature there. And in particular, I think there was a line about awareness about the creeks and things. I mean, I know when they put the Reeser there, I remember saying I had no idea that was even there, you know, so I think that would be, you know, great to have a role in sort of this kind of urban nature interplay that the district is kind of uniquely situated to provide some expertise and some engagement around. So I really like that element of it. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, great. I know one of the action items is to look at opportunities to view and maybe even get access to a creek here and there. So when we're looking at property, we could look at that as an opportunity for sure. I agree.
Any other questions? Two things I want to highlight. So I really like the mention of wayfinding and placemaking. As someone who's grown up here and still manages to get lost in downtown Beaverton, I think anytime we can like remind people where they are, and like it's growing so fast too, like it's hard to keep track of where I am. So anytime we can do that, I think is great, and that to me also ties to our commitment to safety and connection, all the things. And then I just want to highlight, because I think I've done this before with regards to this kind of presentation, this work. I'm so excited to have seen like a focus group focus on accessibility, and I hope that we can normalize that, and learn from that, and push ourselves to think through that lens. So just really appreciate that work, and the city of Beaverton's leadership around that. And thank you. Any other questions?
All right. Well, thank you
Okay.
for
Well,
having
thank you,
me.
Gary. Yeah. Next up, we have the general manager's report.
Doug, you're on mute, but I'll go ahead and go. Good evening, Board of Directors. I'm Julie Rocha, the Sports and Inclusion Director for the district. And since we have so many folks in new positions, we thought it'd be great to give a recreation division update on staffing. Obviously, you saw two of our new center supervisors this evening. So I'd like to welcome Emily Kent, Sports and Inclusion Manager, and Kristen Smith, the Recreation Manager, to give the update.
Great. Thank you, Julie. Good evening, Board of Directors. As Julie said, I'm Kristen Smith, Recreation Manager, and I'm joined tonight by my colleague, Emily Kent, Sports and Inclusion Manager. And we'll be providing a brief update on the staffing changes that have taken place across the Recreation Division. So Jessica, whenever you're ready, we'll advance to the next slide. So in total across the Recreation Division, we have 99 full-time staff members. This includes staff in our aquatics, recreation, including the Nature Center, in sports, inclusion, customer service, and facility maintenance. Of those 99 staff, 38 are either new to the district or new to their positions, which in most cases is a positive result of various promotions for current staff. In addition to these 38 staff, we have 9 vacant positions in our division, which makes up a total of 47%, or nearly half of our staff across the Recreation Division are new to their positions within the last year. The biggest changes we have seen in the division have been shown in our leadership positions, specifically our manager and our center supervisor positions. So we have 3 Recreation Division managers, 2 of which are here tonight, and 2 of which both of us are new within the last 6 months, as you know. And then we have a 3rd manager position, the aquatic manager, that is still currently vacant, but we are in the midst of a recruitment for that position as we speak. We have a total of 11 center supervisors in our division. These are the folks that lead the helm at each of our facilities. And of these 11, 82% of our center supervisors, so in other words, all of them except 2, are new to THPRD or new to their supervisor position within the last year. So the lucky 2, I would personally like to recognize Ann Johnson at Conestoga Recreation and Aquatic Center and Brian Yorstone at the Athletic Center and Tennis Center. These are our 2 center supervisors that are the most tenured here at THPRD. So a sense of what these new supervisors and new staff look like in each of our departments is reflected in the next few slides. Next slide, please. So in recreation maintenance, we have 4 full-time staff that support facility maintenance. These are staff that support the maintenance activities and needs in addition to the facility maintenance techs and pool operators that are based out of each of our individual facilities. So 100% or all 4 of these staff are either new to the district or new to their positions within the last year. So Chris Gatos, seen here, has been a longtime employee of the district, but recently was promoted into a new supervisor position. As we continue through to the next slide, you'll see positions highlighted in orange to show either new staff and or vacant positions. So in our aquatics department, this is where we have seen the most change and growth over the last 12 months. And this is to be expected, especially since some of our pools were not open a year ago, and today they are. There are a total of 27 full-time staff in the aquatics department, with 11 new staff, including 2 new center supervisors that have come on in the last year. So you met 2 of them tonight, Patrick Williamson and Josh Norton. Are our 2 new center supervisors. Patrick is the center supervisor over Aloha Swim Center and Beaverton Swim Center, and Josh is the center supervisor over Harmon and Sunset Swim Center. We're thrilled to have Patrick and Josh join our team, but you will see we still do have a lot of vacancies in aquatics. So we do have still 6 positions vacant in aquatics, including a vacancy at the Aquatic Center due to Lori Leach's recent retirement from the district. So Lori retired after 36 years of service. So again, that leaves us a vacancy in a center supervisor position. So with these new staff and the vacancies that we have in aquatics, that's more than 63% of our staff are either new to their role in aquatics or new to THPRD in the last year. On the next slide, I'll show the changes in our recreation department. In total, we have 33 full-time staff in the recreation department. So as you can see from the orange highlights behind staff photos, we have a lot of new, particularly in our leadership in the recreation department. All of us, myself included, as a new manager in the last year, are doing a lot of learning based on these new roles. And this extends to our supervisors in recreation as well. All of our center supervisors are either new to the district, new to their position as a center supervisor, or they are new to the center where they are working at. We have Brian Schlotman, center supervisor at Cedar Hills, is new to THPRD. He started a month ago. Karen Monday is our new center supervisor at the Nature Center, but hopefully she sounds familiar as she has been in our programming staff for the past 12 years. And then Ann Johnson, while not new to the district, is new to Conestoga, leading our aquatics and recreation staff programs and activities. Ann, as you may recall, was previously the center supervisor at Cedar Hills Recreation Center. We also have 2 vacancies in the recreation department, one at the assistant center supervisor level supporting operations at Conestoga, and 1 program coordinator position at the Nature Center, which is currently in recruitment as we speak. So in total in the recreation department, 45% of the staff are either new to the district or new to their position in the last year. To tell us about our other departments, I will kick it over to Emily Kent, Sports and Inclusion Manager.
Thank you, Kristen. Good evening, board. Thank you for having me. Emily Kent, Sports and Inclusion Manager. As you can see, the sports and inclusion staff, a lot of orange dots as well. The one highlight I want to show is that as of Monday, we are fully staffed for the first time since pre-pandemic. No open recruitments, but I'm crossing my fingers because we have wonderful staff who are going for internal promotion. So we'll see how long it goes. But for now, we are fully staffed. As you can see, myself being new to my position within the last 6 months, and then 3 of our 4 center supervisors and assistant center supervisors are new to their positions as well. We have Carol Johnston, who has been with the district for a long time, who is now the center supervisor over Garden Home Recreation Center and the Elsie Stewart Center. Supporting her work is a new position in an assistant center supervisor, which is filled last Monday by Juan Caez, who is a previous or current employee with the district coming from our family assistance program. We also have Jeff Lee new in his role as the Assistant Center Supervisor to Brian Yorstone at both the Athletic Center and the Tennis Center. Jeff is a longtime Tualatin Hills staff and was promoted into his position in January. We do have 31 full-time staff in our department. Total of 11 staff, or 35%, are new into their roles. And while this is a lot of new, and we talk about new staff all the time, I do want to share that that's only part of the story. That's the numbers. But the people aspect of this is to show, look at all we've done in the last year with all of the new. So really just sharing that we have incredible staff. We have dedicated staff who are working hard to open facilities. We've opened aquatic facilities. We've expanded hours at facilities. We've increased our programming across the district, increased our culturally specific community events across the district, amongst all of the new. So the new staff are bringing in energy, new perspectives. The staff who has been here are excited and are welcoming that new staff. And so while the numbers are important, that human piece and the dedication of our staff is also a big portion of that story. So with that, Jessica, the next slide, we will take any questions.
So exciting. And I love seeing internal promotions and growth. It's just awesome. There's some of those people I'm like, I've heard those things for 6 years. I love it. Heidi, go ahead.
And I don't know that I have questions, but I want to recognize that all staff have been through so much change over the last few years through the pandemic and opening and closing and the change in programming. And I hope that THPRD staff feels as though they're heard, they're valued, and I get that sense. And I know that's one of our values as a board, is to really uplift our employees and support employees. So I'm excited to see this. I am really happy to hear and see how we are promoting from within, and that some of you are moving into leadership positions after being here for however many years and sticking around, and that's a feel good thing for me, in addition to hiring folks who are external. But I do really appreciate that that our organization is looking at how to grow our own people, grow our own and support and lift up those who are doing excellent work. So a lot of recognition for all of you, and just hope that we continue to invest in our employees, and recognizing all that we've gone through over the last few years, how appreciative we really are of the work of our staff. So kudos to you all, whether you're here online. Kristen, I think weren't you at the Nature Center before?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're one of those promoting from within, and like it's wonderful to see that. So thank you for all that you all do.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thanks, Heidi. Tia?
I just want to echo the same thing that Heidi said. I love that we're filling all of our positions now that we're kind of reopening or fully open again. I love the promotion within, and hopefully all the new hires will stay on as long as possible also, and will be a good place and good final home for them as they kind of go up the ranks and then hopefully retire like Lori. Like, fun fact, she was actually my swim teacher when I was little. So coming in as a board member and seeing her, that was amazing to see her as a supervisor when she used to teach me dive and swimming when I was like 10. So yeah, it's just a wonderful family thing here, and hopefully like Heidi said, as a board, we're focused on making sure we take care of our own, because we know you guys are all taking care of our communities, and we super appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you.
And
Thank
if I
you,
may
Tia.
add, if I can add to a little piece of that, thinking about how, I know with my kids and us participating in activities primarily like through Conestoga, you do become family with the employees at the centers and the teachers and the folks who are there. So you're an extension of the community's families too. So thank you for all you do.
If I could add to Felicita, please. I really do want to acknowledge that it's pretty unique being in an environment that though the pandemic sent us through accelerated processes, the reality is this concept of promoting within or or allowing an opportunity to develop new experiences within. Really, I want to give credit to Aisha. She had placed that as an emphasis years and years ago, long before the pandemic. And in part, it paid off. It allowed employees to test and feel and sense, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to aspire to do? And it was a healthy test, because the reality is, for many, sometimes that can be a fearful step, but if you're allowed to do it on an interim basis, you become comfortable. You may decide, I still remember the day I left the tennis center was, in part, it was a sad part, because I left a lot of people right in front of me, the public. And so for many, I commonly remind people that I miss that part a great deal, because that's part of the joy, part of the passion of what we do.
Thank you. Great presentation, Emily and Kristen. Much appreciated. Any other questions? This is a fun update. I feel like we haven't had an update that was all like focused on staffing and internal. I love it. Thank you. Next up, we have fitness program update. That's what we have, folks. There we go.
Yeah, well, I'll kick us off again. We're here to provide a fitness program update. District-wide fitness sits in inclusion, sports and inclusion department. So I'd like to introduce Miles Hamlet, the fitness program aide, and Carol Johnson, center supervisor, Garden Home and LC Stir Center.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening, Board of Directors. I'm Carol Johnston, and I am the Center Supervisor over the LC Store Center and the Garden Home Recreation Center. And tonight I am joined by Miles Hamlet. He is our fitness program aide for the district, and we are going to present a fitness program update. So I'm going to turn it over to Miles and for the presentation.
Good evening, Board. Next slide, please. We have seen a great increase in fitness participation throughout the district. In a comparison of drop in attendance in April of 22 compared to April of 23, we saw an average of 60% increase in total attendance across all facilities that we program at. For personal training, we looked at a comparison of winter term of 22 to winter term of 23 for a broader view, and we saw an average of a 47% increase in personal training revenue over Garden Home, LC Stir, Conestoga, and Cedar Hills. The fitness team has increased their opportunities to be more inclusive of all the different populations that we serve here at THPRD. In partnership with the Adaptive and Inclusive Recreation team, we introduced Inclusive Zumba at Garden Home. Baby We Got This is a free outdoor fitness class as part of our Spring Fitness in the Park series, dedicated to the new parent who is wishing to stay healthy and fit while still in the days of spending lots of time with their newborns. Revive is an exercise recovery small group training program offered at LC Stir Center for the patrons who are recovering from injury, illness, or surgery. As a former Diversify intern myself, I am so excited that we have continued our partnership in working with that program, offering BIPOC students field experience in park and recreation to be able to support our spring intern, Erin Carrillo from the University of Portland, and then in the future, our summer intern, Danica Nelson from Pacific University. The fitness team is continuing the healthcare partner programs. We currently service 3 partners, Silver and Fit, Renew Active, and Silver Sneakers, with most of our patronage belonging to Silver and Fit. Our healthcare partner usage averages about 1,500 participants each month district-wide. Next slide, please. Glow in the Park is a new free outdoor program that we recently debuted in April with a warm welcome of about 100 patrons from the neighborhood around Commonwealth Lake Park. We have our second one tonight at Hanson Ridge Park and our last one on June 7th at Rock Creek Trail. Looking forward, we will be bringing back our Walk With Me series, which was a huge hit last summer, and we will be hitting 9 parks and trails across the district, with 6 of those being new to our list. We are ecstatic to announce that we will also be doubling our Fitness in the Park offerings for this summer beginning June 26th. The fitness team hopes to continue and expand the great work of offering these free outdoor fitness opportunities through the financial support of community-based grants. Next slide, please. Here is a shortened list of our upcoming events, either being hosted or co-hosted by the fitness program. We tried our best to create these fitness events and opportunities in many of our facilities and parks throughout the district. With the creation of my position as program aide, we have been able to explore more unique and creative ways to keep our patrons engaged in fitness, such as our Art and Asana workshop, which is a 3-hour workshop in which patrons will spend an hour in a yoga flow class and 2 hours painting while enjoying the gorgeous views at Cooper Mountain Nature House. Pump It Up with Pride is going to be a 90-minute kickboxing, aerobic, and strength workout to celebrate Pride Month in partnership with Cedar Hills event of Pride in the Park. And with the rise in popularity of Zumba, we will be once again partnering with community events and cultural inclusion to put on our Zumba from Around the World event as a part of the City of Beaverton's Welcoming Week. Next slide, please. The district-wide fitness equipment replacement plan is an allocated capital budget plan used to keep the fitness equipment at each facility up to date on safety and in line with industry standards. This past year, we have replaced 3 ellipticals with 3 new steps to Cedar Hills, Garden Home, and Conestoga to increase the amount of adaptive and inclusive equipment and match the rising popularity of the machines at LC Stir Center. With remaining funds, we have purchased additional replacement equipment for Garden Home and Conestoga. Next slide, please. Are there any questions?
Will you explain what glow in the park is? Sorry, I feel like I misunderstood. It sounds great. I love the title.
Yeah, so Glow in the Park is a staff-led twilight stroll through one of our parks. Our first one, we did it at 6:30. It was a little bit earlier in the day, so the picture that was shown, it was around sunset. So the kids there kind of just more got to take home their glow stuff to play with. But we did end up shifting the time to a 7:30 start time. So the next walk tonight is actually going to start in about 10-ish minutes. And then hopefully they'll be getting that nice twilight stroll. So they'll be strolling through Hanson Ridge. And then as well, we partnered with Mobile Rec for our last 2 events. So they are putting on some arts and crafts for the kids as well.
I'd love that. This is great. Especially thinking about like using the parks at not all hours, but more hours. And knowing that it's getting hotter and sometimes you can't enjoy the park in the afternoon. So love that. Great idea. Great presentation.
Yeah, and we really wanted to promote our community being able to come together, like neighbors who maybe didn't get to know each other because they moved here during pandemic. We just really wanted to create an opportunity for the community around the park that people tend to go out and enjoy to really be able to come together and enjoy that together. So
saying all my favorite things, Miles. Did someone tell you to do that? Any questions from folks? Well, thank you, Miles.
Thank you so much for your guys' time tonight.
Is there any more from the general manager's report?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you, Julie and team. Now, new business, Evelyn Street concept plan.
Tim and Nicole.
Yes, good evening, board members. I'm Tim Bonin, Interim Design and Development Manager. And I'm here tonight with Nicole Polson, Park Planner and Project Manager for North Bethany Park and Trail Projects. We're here tonight to share a developer-led neighborhood park project in exchange for payment of system development charges. With that, I will pass it off to Nicole.
Great. Can everybody hear me okay? Just want to. Excellent. Thanks. Thank you very much for the introduction, Tim. Thank you, board, for having me tonight. So as Tim mentioned, we're here to present the preferred concept plan for the future park at Evelyn Street, located in North Bethany. Jessica, if you could go to the next slide and kick us off, that would be great. So the park is located in the North Bethany sub area, and it is adjacent to the future Beaverton School District site, shown in the brown. The circles around the site show the distance within a half a mile of the park and within 1 mile of the park. As you might be able to see, there are a lot of green splotches on that map, which is wonderful. Many of the recreation sites within that 1 mile area radius within that larger black outline circle include Ulrich Gerber Park, Parivar Park, Abbey Creek Park, Kaiser Woods Park, Bethany Creek Park, and there are additional nodes of play along the Yoshihara Trail. Think that big dinosaur fossil that I know my kids love. And there's also 3 elementary schools within that area as well that provide different recreation opportunities. The next slide will zoom in a little closer onto the property. And so as you see, the site the park site is highlighted in red here. The houses are still yet to be developed. As Tim said, it's a developer-led project for systems development charges. The park is within the Washington County North Bethany Community Plan, identified as a neighborhood park. The site's just over 2 acres. As part of this project, we will have the construction of this park, as well as trails to enhance the connectivity to the park and the existing trail network that is already out there. And on the next slide, you will see the developer's overall plan for their housing and recreation for the subdivision. So the park is shown in bright green, and the trails that will be built with this project are shown in yellow. And it will be designed and constructed by Taylor Morrison for the systems development charge credits that we mentioned. The project includes the 2-acre site, the trails, and the land costs. That east-west trail that you see in the middle of the map is going to provide really great connectivity between the park and Sato Elementary School, which is shown on the far left. It'll provide that direct route. And then additional trails along the perimeter of the development will provide recreation throughout the neighborhood. And then once the future school site is developed, the trail will then be connected north-south as well, shown by a dashed black line that you might be able to see through that purple area. And the natural area that you see that's shown kind of in the darker green will be owned and maintained by the developer, but it will help enhance the trail experience by offering scenic views and wildlife for the area. So next slide, please. So this plan, the concept plan that you'll see here shortly, was presented to our Parks and Facilities Advisory Committee in March of 2022. And with these systems developer projects, the developer, with our input, THPRD input, they are responsible for the public engagement. So in this past February 2023, Taylor Morrison's design consultants held a virtual meeting to introduce the park to the community and seek input on the theme of the play equipment and different colors and styles. A survey accompanied the virtual meeting and received over 271 responses. That was a nice, great response that we received. The survey results presented here on this slide show that the community really favored the nature theme with bright colors, which when I think of that, I know that a lot of people think browns or greens for nature, but I also think of wildlife such as butterflies or caterpillars, something that could be bright but also entertain that nature element as well. So next slide, please, Jessica. So throughout the design process, we worked with Taylor Morrison and their design consultant to incorporate our vision action plan, complement existing amenities within the half-mile and mile radius, and install new amenities within our North Bethany area. So the park will offer play equipment shown in the upper left area, a loop pathway, which is always lovely for kids, walkers, but also kids on scooters. Mine go faster than I can walk or run. So it's always nice to have a safe loop for everybody. And then shelters in the lower right of the plan with large trees for shade to enhance the recreation around the play equipment, some around the dog area, as well as some in the open lawn, which I know with Gary's presentation, we heard a lot about the idea and making sure that we have shade incorporated throughout parks within the urban area for Beaverton, but we also want to make sure that we're doing that within other parks, new development as well throughout the district. And there are open lawn area, edible plantings such as blueberries for gleaning, which is near the top right of your plan, as well as a needed dog run area with designated areas for small and large dogs. So throughout this engagement period, the community really expressed desires for additional play area, barbecues, sports courts, and water play. And after further evaluation, staff concluded that the proposed dog run at this future site is really an ideal amenity due to the walkable location, connections to other parts of the community via trails and sidewalks. There is a very heavy dog population in the area, and the fact that the site doesn't abut any houses. We thought this was really a great space for this. As for the consideration of sport courts or fields, staff determined that these amenities exist or are planned at parks and schools within the 1 mile radius of the subdivision. So after we heard, we held our public engagement and worked with the design consultants. The preliminary concept plan was refined to expand the play area, knowing there are lots of dogs and lots of children. We wanted to accommodate the people groups that are going to be using the site, as well as include barbecue pits near the shelter to encourage community gatherings. Next slide, please, Jessica. So that the schedule for this park site is for this summer, late summer into fall. And with that concludes my presentations. I really appreciate your time this evening. I'd be happy to hear any feedback, input, or answer any questions that you might have for me.
Thank you, Nicole. Long time no see.
I know, it's been a while.
Tia, go ahead.
Did we specify what kind of school it was gonna butt up? Is it like another elementary school, or is it gonna be a middle school? Do we know yet?
I am not sure of that. I'm not sure what BSD is planning for that site.
I can jump in. It had been planned as an elementary school, a future elementary school.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but we are not aware of any timeline that the district has for developing that site.
Gotcha. Perfect. And then the play equipment says like all ages. What is our ages? Do we, I mean, I guess my question is, I know we've talked about like middle school kind of things. Like is there maybe middle school age equipment potentially, or have we thought of that? Or I wonder if we should start incorporating some of these things, because I don't think there's anything in that area that's like kind of like a middle school hangout kind of thing.
I know that we what is shown on the concept plan is the 2 to 6 and then the all ages, which when we're looking at play equipment, those do typically tend to lend 5 to 12. But I believe Abbey Creek Park, which is just across from within that 1 mile radius, is incorporating more of the kind of teen heavy amenities. I'm not, Tim or Aisha may have a little bit better
Yes, we do.
vocabulary of the exact amenities that are going in, but working in the department, I am aware that there is kind of that more teen area going in, which will be close by.
Yes, and is it possible to go back a couple of slides, Jessica, to the kind of vicinity map that had the circles?
That was slide number 2, Jessica.
That one. So just where that mile circle is, the larger circle on the far west side, you'll see Abbey Creek Park, which is green. And that is the location that we came to you not too terribly long ago and talked about the concept plan for that phase 2 development. And it does contain a teen spot. And so Tim, maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, but that is just about 1 mile from this future park site.
Yes, correct. That's when we were looking at what types of activities and programming we wanted to do at Abbey Creek that would be a little bit different. And when we were talking with homeowners or neighbors in that area, that's where that teen area hangout concept came from. And so yes, we will have an area there. We also have play equipment there as well, but we also, again, to provide some diversity, have this teen zone, which is going to be some seating areas built up into these sort of step seating areas, as well as has shade over the top. And I believe we're going to put a table tennis there as well. So something a little different, make it more of a hangout. And again, just having our variety of 2 to 5 year old and a 5 to 12 year olds at all our sites.
Okay, perfect. And then my last question was, I love the edible, like the blueberries and the fruit trees and all. I love it, love it, love it. But I just want to know from like a district standpoint, like what our liability is for that if somebody was to get sick or whatnot off of those, or who's responsible with like, yeah, like what comes off of it or and whatnot.
Well, I'm not sure it falls under recreational immunity, but I suspect it's like many of the things that, you know, there's a lot of vegetation, and in this case, this part is going to be okay if they do partake.
And part of that is identifying that area as well with signage like at Recuerdo Park. If you recall, we have different signs there to let people know what is edible. Close to the community gardens, we also have the edible gardens there as well.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you guys. It's wonderful. I love
Great.
the whole loop thing. That's like my favorite thing of all parks.
More loops, more shade equals happy Tia. Any other questions? One question I had, Nicole, was in the survey. I'm curious if you asked about garden plots. It's just in the back of my head because they're so popular, and I fully acknowledge that everything's popular and we can't have everything. I'm just curious if that was asked in the survey.
Garden plots were not asked in the survey. We really focused heavy with the survey on the style, on actual play equipment, the style of play equipment that people were most interested in seeing, as well as colors. Because this is a developer-led project, we go off of our developer guidelines, and with the site, the size of this particular site and some of the needs that we identified early on with the dog run, the compatible use wasn't as, well, not that it wasn't compatible, but the amenities putting in a 2-acre site was a little bit heavy on the design side of it. I know that
makes
we
perfect
have,
sense.
yeah, that there is to the East Community Park that may provide opportunities for community or gleaning gardens, which is going to be just south of this site, a future community park within the North Bethany area, and that may be a really nice space, if possible, to include there as well. That's got a design process, down the road, but.
Yeah, I know there's no shortage of great ideas. There's no shortage of need. There's just shortage of space and time and money. But I love the gleaning too. I love the loop. This is great and exciting. So thank you for all your hard work. Any other questions? I think that was the last thing on the agenda.
Yes.
Well,
Do we need
I think
board
we
to-
might need a motion.
Yeah. Oh,
Motion.
thank you. I'm like ready to just go to bed,
No,
honestly.
Well, I will jump in. This is Barbie, and I move that the Board of Directors approve the preferred concept plan for the future park at Evelyn Street located in North Bethany.
Thank you,
I
Barbara.
would,
Do you have a second?
I would love to second that if I could. This is Alfredo.
Thank you, Alfredo. Jessica, will you please take roll?
Excuse me, Tia Ping,
Yes.
Heidi Edwards,
Yes.
Alfredo Moreno,
Yes.
Barbie Minor,
Yes.
Lisa Monteblanco.
Yes. Well, thank you, everybody. It's going to be very hot this weekend, so I need
Thank
everyone
you.
to drink water and stay in the shade and be safe, so none of us are on the news. And thank you for all your hard work, and I hope you have lovely evenings. Oh, now adjourn. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.